Have you ever walked into a room and felt like there wasn't enough space, even though the room was big enough? Not too small, just too full. Now picture a mudroom in Geauga County, Ohio. 8 feet wide, 6 wooden pegs on the wall at shoulder height. Each one holds a single thing: a hat, a coat, a lantern, a cloth bag, a hand broom, an apron. Below the pegs, nothing. No shoe rack, no basket, no bench with storage cubbies. The floor is bare and swept, and a woman carrying a laundry basket on each hip walks straight through without turning sideways. That hallway costs almost nothing to set up, and the family that uses it never went to a store looking for an entryway organization system. They didn't watch a video about how to maximize their mudroom. They just decided that 6 things belong in that hallway, hung 6 pegs, and stopped. Amish communities now live in more than 30 states across North America. The population has roughly doubled every 20 years. And in settlement after settlement, from Pennsylvania to Indiana to Wisconsin, the houses share one thing that catches every visitor off guard: space. Not because the rooms are large, because the rooms are clear. That's what this video covers. 12 ideas, drawn from how plain households actually run. None of them cost real money. Most of them are free. A few of them take less than 5 minutes. And every single one works in a house, an apartment, a rented room. You don't need a farm, a barn, or a mudroom. You need a wall, and a decision. The first one starts with that wall. 1 peg per object, nothing on the floor below it. This is the whole system in miniature. Walk into the hallway of a farmhouse in northern Ohio on a December evening. The light's already going. 6 pegs, 6 objects. Each peg sits at exactly the height of the person who uses it most. A small scratch mark on the wall shows where the peg was drilled, and that mark has been there long enough to darken. Now picture your own entryway. The hooks on the back of the door with 4 coats stacked on one. The basket underneath holding scarves nobody's worn since last year. The shoes, the bag of reusable bags, the umbrella that fell behind the bench. All of that fills a space about the same width as that mudroom, and you can't walk through it with your hands full. The difference isn't the house. The peg holds one thing, not 2. When a second thing lands on it, someone takes it off. Not later, now. And nothing sits on the floor beneath, because the floor is for walking, not for storing. You could put a single peg on any wall in your house today for about 60 cents and a screwdriver. Hang one thing on it, leave the floor clear. That's the whole idea. But the peg only works because the drawer behind it follows the same rule. 2. 1 drawer, 1 purpose. Step into a kitchen in Lancaster County on a July morning. Flour dust on the table from the day's first batch of bread. 3 drawers beside the stove. 1 holds knives, 1 holds cloth, dish towels and rags. 1 holds string, pencils, and a roll of tape. Open any of them and you can see the back panel. Most of us have a junk drawer. Some of us have 3. Batteries next to twist ties, next to a phone charger that fits nothing in the house. You open it looking for scissors and close it without finding them. That drawer doesn't hold things. It hides them. In many plain kitchens, no drawer holds 2 categories of object. The rule sounds rigid until you watch someone reach into a drawer without looking and pull out exactly what they need. She doesn't rummage, she doesn't dig. Her hand goes in and comes back out. The speed of that motion tells you everything about how that drawer was set up. Pick 1 drawer in your kitchen this weekend. Take everything out. Put back only the things that belong to one category. The rest goes somewhere else or goes away. You'll reach into it differently by Monday. And that somewhere else brings up a question most of us never ask. 3. The empty chair rule. A Sunday afternoon in a living room, somewhere in the Elkhart settlement in Indiana. 4 chairs, a small table, a lamp. The family fills the room and the room fits the family. No extra chair pushed against the wall for a guest who hasn't come in months. No side table holding a stack of magazines. No ottoman nobody puts their feet on. If a chair doesn't get sat in, it doesn't stay in the room. Not in the attic. Out of the house. Same for a table, a stool, a cabinet. Furniture earns its place by being used, and when it stops being used, it moves to someone who needs it. Walk through your own living room. Count the surfaces. Now count the ones that hold something nobody's touched this week. A plant stand. A decorative tray. The chair where the laundry lands. Every one of those takes up floor space, and floor space is the thing you can't buy more of. Remove one piece of furniture you don't sit on this week. Just one. Don't replace it. Stand in the room afterward, and notice what changed. It's not emptier, it's bigger. Here's a number that puts this into proportion. The average American home now runs about 2,300 square feet. An old-order farmhouse often runs half that for twice the people. The square footage didn't grow. The objects shrank. 4. Flat surfaces stay bare. Spring, early morning. A bedroom in a farmhouse outside of Shipshewana, Indiana. The dresser top holds nothing. Not a mirror, not a tray of coins, not a photo frame. The nightstand holds one thing, a lamp. The bed is made, and the quilt is flat. No pile of pillows stacked for decoration. Now here's the thing. This isn't aesthetic. Nobody in that house read a magazine about bedroom design. Flat surfaces stay bare because a flat surface with something on it attracts more things. The coin dish becomes the coin dish, and the receipts, and the pen, and the earbuds, and the half-read book. The dresser becomes a shelf. The shelf becomes a pile. The pile becomes a room that feels smaller every week. The rule is physical. If it's flat and horizontal, it stays clear unless something is actively being used on it right now. Pick one surface in your bedroom tonight. Clear it completely. Leave it bare for a week. Watch how many times your hand reaches to put something on it. That reflex is the whole problem, and it breaks in about 4 days. Meanwhile, most of us would drive to a store to replace the thing this next idea would fix in 20 minutes. 5. The mending basket instead of the replacement run. A Tuesday evening, late February, lamplight in a back bedroom. A woman in her 60s sits with a basket on her lap. Inside, a torn apron, a pair of trousers with a split seam, a sock with a hole worn through the heel, thread, a needle, a pair of scissors. She'll finish all 3 before the lamp burns low. Most of us have a shirt in the closet with a missing button. It's been there long enough that we've stopped seeing it. The plan was to fix it. The plan is always to fix it. Eventually the shirt moves to the donation bag, button still missing, and we buy another one. The mending basket doesn't run on discipline, it runs on a habit. Torn things go in the basket. The basket comes out at the same time every week. The torn things come back whole. A small sewing kit costs a few dollars. The practice costs nothing. And the shirt with the missing button is still in your closet right now. You could fix it tonight in less time than it takes to order a new one. But the mending basket only works because nothing stays in the house past its season. 6. Seasonal rotation. Out of season, out of the house. First frost. A farmhouse in Holmes County, Ohio. The summer kitchen closes for the year. Canning equipment goes to the cellar shelf. Garden tools move to the barn. Lighter clothes fold into a trunk and heavier ones come out. This happens in a single day. Not a project, not a purge. A rotation, the same one that happened last October, and the October before that. Here's why it works. In many plain households, the house holds only what belongs to this season. Winter clothes in winter, summer tools in summer, canning jars when canning is happening. The rest lives elsewhere. Cellar, barn, attic, and it doesn't come back until its month arrives. You feel the difference in the closet first. Instead of 80 garments jammed together, 20 hang with room to breathe. The woman from that Geauga County mudroom does this every year on the same week. She calls it nothing. She doesn't plan for it. The weather changes, and the house changes with it. You don't need a barn, A single bin in a closet or a shelf in the garage holds what's out of season. Rotate twice a year, spring and fall. The closet gets lighter both times. And that rotation answers a harder question. What happens when something new comes in? 7. One in, one out. March. The same mudroom in Geauga County. A new coat comes in from the dry goods store. Before it goes on the peg, the old one comes off. Not next week. Right now. The peg holds one thing. The house holds what fits. If something arrives, something leaves. Most of us bring things in and almost never take things out. The flow is one direction. Through the front door and into a closet, a drawer, a shelf, a corner, a storage unit. The average American household now holds over 300,000 individual objects. That number isn't a character flaw, it's a design problem. The house doesn't have an exit rule. The exit rule is simple. Before you bring one new thing through the door, one existing thing goes out. Donated, handed off, composted, recycled, not stored, gone. You don't count every object. You don't score yourself. You just make the trade, every time, until it stops feeling like a trade and starts feeling like the way things work. So far, everything we've covered lives inside the house. The next one lives in a workshop, and it's the one that surprised me most. 8. Tools on the wall, not in a drawer. A Tuesday in February, a workshop off the barn in Holmes County, Ohio. The door opens and cold air rolls across the concrete floor. Saws hang on pegs along the far wall, smallest to largest, left to right. Chisels sit in a slotted rack above the bench, each one in its own notch. Below the bench, nothing. The floor is swept clean enough to eat off, and the man working there can reach every tool without taking a step. Now here's the thing. Open a drawer in most American garages. Screwdrivers loose, tangled with pliers, a tape measure buried under zip ties, and an Allen wrench set still in the blister pack. You can't see what you own. You can't find what you need. So you buy another one, and the drawer gets heavier. A hand plane on that bench came from his grandfather. The blade has been sharpened so many times it's half its original width. It still takes a shaving you can read through. That tool hangs on the same peg it hung on 30 years ago. Not because the man is sentimental, because he can see it, reach it, and put it back without thinking. The wall is the system, not the toolbox, not the rolling cart, not the drawer. A board, some nails, and an outline traced around each tool in pencil. You know what's missing, because the shape is still there. Build one this weekend. One board, one wall, the tools you actually use. The ones you forgot you own will tell you something. And the tool wall stays honest because of something that happens once a week. 9. The Saturday sweep. Summer morning, a farmhouse, and the whole household moves through every room in the same direction. Not deep cleaning, just sweeping, in every sense. What's on this table? Does it belong here? What's in this corner? Does it earn its place? A boy of 12 pulls a box from under a bench, sorts it in 3 minutes, puts back half, carries the rest to the barn. This isn't spring cleaning. Spring cleaning is a project, and projects get delayed. The Saturday sweep is a habit, 10 minutes, once a week, same time, same path. If something drifted, it goes back. If something has no place, it gets one, or it leaves. A household of 9 runs this way, because without it, 9 people generate a lot of drift. But a household of 1 generates drift too. You know this. You've seen the counter after a week of not thinking about it. Here's where it gets honest. A storm knocks the power out for 3 days, and the family with the swept house finds what they need in the dark. Not because they prepared for emergencies, because every object in that house already sits where someone expects it to be. That's not readiness. That's just Tuesday. Run your hand across one surface in your house right now. If you can't name everything on it without looking, it needs a sweep. And the sweep works because of what's not in the kitchen. 10. No duplicates. September. A kitchen in the middle of canning season. The counter holds one large pot, one ladle, one jar lifter, one funnel. Not a matched set, not a brand, just one of each, the one that works. The cabinet behind her holds one skillet, cast iron, seasoned black, one bread pan, one stock pot, one colander. Most of us have a cabinet with 4 spatulas and a drawer with 3 whisks, and we use the same one every time. The other 2 are just weight. In many plain kitchens, duplicates don't accumulate because the rule is function, not collection. If the skillet works, a second skillet is not a backup. It's clutter with a handle. Amish households aren't minimalist. They own tools, equipment, and supplies in serious quantity. A canning cellar might hold 300 jars, but there's one jar lifter, one funnel, one ladle. The quantity goes toward function, not variety. Open your utensil drawer. Pull out the duplicates, the second peeler, the spare tongs, the whisk you never reach for. Give them away, you won't miss them, and the drawer will close on the first try. Here's a number worth holding on to. Some studies on household clutter estimate that 80% of the things people keep are never used after the first year. 11. Children's rule. Put it back before the next thing. A weekday afternoon, a one-room schoolhouse in rural Indiana. 16 children, 8 grades. The room holds desks, a wood stove, a shelf of books, a row of pegs. After the arithmetic lesson, the slates go back to the shelf before the reading books come out. Not as punishment, as sequence. In many Amish households, children learn this from the age they can carry a toy. You put the first thing back before you pick up the second. Not because the house needs to be spotless, because a room shared by 6 children becomes impassable in 45 minutes if nobody puts anything back. The rule scales. A house shared by 2 adults follows the same logic. You just don't notice the drift as fast. Try it for one day. Before you start a new task, finish the cleanup from the last one. Close the cabinet before opening the next. Put the book back before picking up the phone. It sounds small. By evening, the house looks different, and you didn't clean once. You just stopped leaving a trail, and this brings us to the last one, the one underneath all the others. 12. Earn your square foot. A winter evening, the porch of a farmhouse. The sky going dark at 5. Inside, lamplight through the windows. Every room in that house answers one question. Does this object earn the space it stands on? Not, might I need it? Not, did I pay good money for it? Not, does it still work? Does it earn its place, right now, in this room, this season? That question is the whole system. The pegs, the drawers, the bare surfaces, the mending basket, the seasonal rotation, the exit rule, the tool wall, the weekly sweep, the single skillet, the children's habit. They all trace back to this one sentence. The object earns its square foot, or it leaves. The woman from the Geauga County mudroom scratched a mark on the wall for every peg. She did the same thing in the kitchen. Small pencil marks where the hooks go, where the shelf sits, where the lamp belongs. Nothing dramatic, nothing labeled, just a mark that says, this is where this goes. And if nothing goes here, nothing stands here. You don't need a farmhouse to run a house this way. You don't need a religion or a community or a set of rules someone else wrote. You need one question, applied to one room, starting with one object. Does it earn its place? If the answer takes more than a second, you already know. 12 ideas. 6 pegs on a wall. 1 drawer that opens clean. A chair removed instead of a cushion added. A surface kept bare. A basket that brings torn things back whole. A closet that changes with the season. A door that lets one in and sends one out. A tool wall where nothing hides. A 10-minute sweep that keeps the week honest. A kitchen with one of everything that works. A child's habit that scales to any age. And a question that holds it all together. None of this started as organization. Nobody in that house called it a system. Nobody bought a label maker. Nobody watched a video. They decided what belonged in each room, and everything else stopped getting through the door. That's the piece worth keeping. The space didn't come from a bigger house. It came from a smaller claim on the house. A family of 9 in 1,200 square feet, with room to walk through every hallway, carrying a basket on each hip. And the woman on the cellar steps? She walked through that mudroom 10,000 times. 6 pegs, 6 things, bare floor. She never thought about it. That was the point. The best organization is the kind nobody in the house notices. Because it isn't a project, it's just the way the rooms work. You don't need all 12. Pick one. The peg, the drawer, the empty chair. Do it this weekend. Don't buy anything. Just take one thing out of a room and leave the space open. That's the whole start. Which room in your house would change the most if you took something out instead of adding something in? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. If one of these made you think of someone's house, or someone's kitchen, or the way your grandmother kept a room, send them this video. And if this was worth your time, the like button tells me to make more like it. Next time, we're looking at how a plain kitchen feeds a family of 12, 3 meals a day without a single appliance that plugs in. If you want that one to find you, subscribe. Late winter, Geauga County. A mudroom, 8 feet wide, 6 pegs, 6 things, and a floor you could cross in the dark without tripping. She hung her coat on the second peg, the same one she's used for 40 years. The scratch mark is still there, and the room still has room.